It's time to get rid of the horrible racists and sexists. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Right Opinion, the home of a twat with too much free time, and heaven knows what is going on in the world these days. There are some very pressing matters. Now, we often speak about the importance of grave issues such as language. We all know that there are some words that are a bit more unsavory than others. However, there is still a colossal grey area. Fortunately, we have a lot of fantastic individuals to put us in our place when peoplekind goes astray. Hello, Justin Trudeau. Now, Justin Trudeau is a truly fascinating being, and one that becomes more entertaining day after day. Apart from being known for his smouldering looks, he's also the Prime Minister of Canada and leader of the Liberal Party. He also likes to wear socks, so more power to him like that. I'm not here to judge his electoral term. He seems to be one of those, quote, progressive guys who make certain social issues at the media forefront, so I cannot assume the prosperity of Canadians right now. Maybe everyone's having a great time in Canada, and Trudeau's just bored, so he's taken to doing all this silly shit. The hypothetical boredom may have been put on show at one of his latest talks, where he decided to interrupt a person to correct their phrase from mankind to peoplekind. Now, it would be dishonest to say that he didn't claim it was a joke. Apparently there is context that was needed, but I just found it too funny to ignore, and the fact that we've reached peak politics where we genuinely can't distinguish between parody and reality. And to be honest, when I first saw that clip, I thought to myself, parody has become reality. Everyone hopped on it, one side to accuse him of mansplaining, another to bash him for the sheer ridicule of such a statement, and even with the context, it doesn't make too much sense, but you know, who am I to judge? I think the main problem with this joke is that it didn't appear to be a joke in many people's logical functions. Why is that? Well, if it was a joke, there was one of two outcomes: that he was taking a jab at the questioner, or that he was taking a jab at the culture. Now, it was clear that he's not one to take a jab at such a culture. It's not really up his street. So with regards to the questioner, now, with enough thought, you can actually get a theory of the joke. So the concept of God is typically an androcentric concept, and therefore the questioner noted that her church was challenging that concept. Henceforth, Trudeau was mimicking that style by challenging the perceptively androcentric use of the term mankind. That was the humour. But even with that said, the joke's not very clear, and it was said in a fairly straight way, and it would still be out of character for someone like Trudeau. But why isn't it clear? Well, if we'd made a comment on this a few years ago, we'd all chuckle, great banter, ha ha ha, life goes on. There are a few reasons why it's not the same anymore. Firstly, it was Justin Trudeau, who, as I said, is known for flaunting his progressive credentials, but also the environment of internet paranoia, to say the least. Not that that paranoia is wholly unjustified. Recently, it seems that many have attempted to bastardize a few words that have had a foothold in language, so the atmosphere was just brimming for someone like Trudeau to come and catalyze the tension. There were two examples that stood out to me. However, to speak about one, I've decided that my good man, JSchlatt, can come on and talk about it, because he found it great banter, and I thought, you know what, let's get some mates on. This is a good old mates club right now. Come on, JSchlatt, take him away, talk your shit.
Thank you so much for having me. And, you know, it's truly an honor to be here, helping cover some of society's most pressing issues. There's some real problems going on nowadays, and I'm glad I'm able to—
Stop saying marijuana. Why? Because it's racist ass.
This is what you brought me on to talk about? Marijuana being racist? Okay, remind me to never come back. Stop Saying Marijuana is the newest installment of Now This Weed, the pot-only chapter of Now This. Of course, Now This being the news corporation that has a reputation for ruining things. And today this fine gentleman is here to drop some red pills on us.
The term was used to knock on people of color and their devilish ways. Now, the word itself isn't inherently racist.
The word itself isn't inherently racist, he says, and in fact he even suggests that the term marijuana came from Mexican immigrants, the very same group of people he later claims the term demonizes. He gives us a quick backstory next, explaining how the Federal Bureau of Narcotics started a smear campaign against the drug in the 1930s, claiming that it led its non-white users to commit violent crime. Which is ridiculous, he says, because
all I see people do when they smoke is sit on their couch, watch TV, eat munchies, and fall asleep.
Imagine having the gall to crack a joke on a video about how the word marijuana is racist. Not only that, but imagine only providing anecdotal evidence in your think piece. Anyways, the origins of the word aren't racist, and the word already had a history completely detached from the United States. So all you're doing at this point is demanding we all stop saying an extremely popular word because at some arbitrary point in time it was used by some people in an entirely different culture than the one it originated in to make someone look bad. You're actually insane. You see, this is what I don't understand about the culture of word policing that's becoming more and more prevalent. At the end of the day, this fine gentleman, as well as everyone else who tries to tell you what you can and cannot say, are coming from a good place. I mean, insofar as that they're trying to keep other people from being offended, but prohibiting speech is the hilariously backwards approach to solving this problem. Whenever this topic comes up, I always point back to a rare moment of sanity from iDubbbz in his Tana Mojo video.
This is a very important lesson in critical thinking. Have you or your friends ever said a word so frequently that it's lost a lot of the initial punch that it had, and eventually it just lost all meaning entirely? I remember initially hearing the word cunt and how awful that sounded, but I've used it so frequently that it means fucking nothing to me now. Cunt. Tech cunt here. Okay, cunt. So all of you people out there who hold these words at such high esteem, you are giving it the power that you so desperately want it to not have.
In attempts to control speech, you ensure that certain forbidden words will always have power. They'll always offend people. Seems pretty counterproductive, considering you're only policing us in the interest of protecting other people's feelings. But not only are these people keeping certain words in this forbidden category, they're adding new ones to it. Marijuana. Marijuana. Put that next to all the other words that are insanely racist now. You know what? I want to see how far this rabbit hole can go. Let's see how bland society gets once we're inevitably only allowed to pick from a list of 20 different progressive approved words. I bet Peoplekind is on that list.
Thank you, JSchlatt. He is a devilishly underrated creator, so you should definitely check out his stuff if you haven't already. And JSchlatt was just the appetizer to the main course, because it's one thing to complain about the use of your own language, it's another to claim offense to the use of another that you clearly demonstrate no understanding of. So let's bring in this final example, because the marijuana situation is a molehill compared to this mountain. Now, in Twitter, there are some people who can be quite unpleasant, to be honest, and that was demonstrated recently when a poor lady lost her dog. The name of the dog? Negro. Now, negro is the Spanish word for black. The dog was black, therefore, in spite of its simplicity, the name made sense. However, some people were not having it, and being the slightly on-edge people that they like to see themselves as, felt insulted that she had the audacity to name a dog such an offensive word. One tweeter even went as far to suggest that the fact that negro was the Spanish word for black was racist as fuck. Now, once again, we've reached a stage of international wokeness of oppression. The fact that a traditional word that predates the forms of suffering that many reference to these days is somehow a contentious issue that needs to be discussed as racism with no link whatsoever just bewilders me. The sheer usage of such objective words to take offense to. Is anyone really victimized by this? Or is it just another crazy Twitter moment? I think personally, this is just my hot take, I guess, it's the latter. But this is the thing, you have a few irrational beings who threw a tantrum, it's covered in various news articles, and it creates this atmosphere of uncertainty. The people are going to live in the word police state. I do not believe it myself. But unless some are going to start growing up and realize that words exist, some words that have bad roots, some that may even correlate with negative things of another language, heaven forbid, people are just gonna have to get used to it. Unless you want to live in a padded cell, you have to live with these words. And if we're gonna start talking about objects like colours or drugs like marijuana, then you're gonna have to get used to it and stop wasting people's time. The Trudeau reaction, whether it was a joke or not, it was an insight to what people these days expect. Overreaction? Maybe. The internet definitely needs to cool off. I think we all need to cool off. But let's create an atmosphere where we can cool off, hey? Good. Anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Should we deal with that dog, that cheeky cunt, or should we leave the joyous canine alone? Thankfully, he's back home now. Until then, I'm The Right Opinion, and I'll see you in the next one.